I'm Trisha Beck, and I am a conservative Utah Democrat. I'm married to Ron Beck. We have been married for 32 or 3 years at this stage. We have 6 wonderful children, 5 boys and 1 daughter. And then we have a son in between, Richard, and Richard happens to have Down syndrome. He's why I got involved in politics in the first place. Actually, I became very involved in politics back in about 1983. My husband and I were managing some condominium units, and I had gone out to the units to get them ready for the new tenants. And the people who were there who had been evicted were still there, and they decided to brutally assault me. So they beat me up, slugs to the abdomen, knees to the groin, and the crux of the story was I was 8 months pregnant at the time with our second child. Our son sustained the bulk of the complications, and we gave birth to him a month later, but during that time he had filled up with fluid, had to be life-flighted to Primary Children's Hospital, and both he and I nearly died during the delivery. While he was there, we learned that not only did he have lots of other anomalies, but he also carried the genetic anomaly known as Down syndrome. And our insurance company filed the equivalency of bankruptcy and left us responsible for all the medical bills. That's where it all began for me. And fortunately, there was a program out there which was known as early intervention, and we got him on the waiting list to try and get some early intervention. And every day I would be calling to see where I was, not knowing that it was the squeaky wheel who got the grease. I went one day to an early intervention. There was a note on the door, and it was right after I'd read this little thing and clip in Ann Landers. And a man had written into Ann Landers. He was complaining about the government system, and Ann Landers responded, "Quit your belly aching and go up to your state capitol and do something about it." And I'm going, I, as a mother, could go up to my state capitol. So I loaded the 3 baby boys. We went up to the state capitol, and we decided we were going to educate our lawmakers on how the laws that they were enacting on Utah's Capitol Hill were affecting those of us on the home front that had children with disabilities. I was able to help bring to fruition early intervention for children with disabilities, so we weren't just put on waiting lists all the time. And then I was invited back to Washington to help draft the federal law, Public Law 99-457. In 1997, our lawmaker passed away very suddenly, and I started receiving calls that morning asking if I would consider an appointment to the Utah State Legislature. And I'm going, who in their right mind would want an appointment to the Utah State Legislature? I have my hands full. I called my mother and said, "Mom, they have asked me if I would consider an appointment to the Utah State Legislature." She says, "Oh, Trisha, why are you putting yourself into this? They will be so mean to you. Just, what are you doing?" I said, "Mom, I feel really strongly that this is what I need to do, and I feel strongly that I need to go up there and be a Democrat, because the Democrats put people first, and they believe the same way that I believe. I'm okay with being a Democrat, even though all my life I've thought I was probably leaned, as I was on Capitol Hill lobbying or advocating for people in need, I leaned towards the Republicans, I thought, because I was an active Latter-day Saint. But then I realized when they asked me to come in as a Democrat that I never had to call the Democrats out because they agreed with me. We were on the same page. And my mother, who had been quite involved in politics herself, but with the Republicans, didn't have any problem with it. So I became a Utah State representative, and I realized the importance of being up there. We need to provide a hand up so we don't have to provide a handout. I had seen so many people in need, for people with disabilities, for access to affordable health care. And to me, that is what the Democratic theme is all about. I have had the opportunity to serve 8 years in the legislature, which I truly cherish. People ask me, do you miss being in the legislature? And I tell them, I do. I miss being able to represent people and speak on behalf of the people whose doors I have knocked on and who have told me their stories.